and welcome to Delight and Fright. I am Kat, and to my side is the lovely Luna. Tonight we are talking about Present. Present is a movie that came out this year. It is by director Steven Soderbergh. He directed Sex Lies and Videotape, Aaron Brockovich, the Oceans movies, Oceans 11 and whatnot, Solaris, and Magic Mike. Yeah.
Oh, some hotties.
Yeah. And our writer is David Cope, starring Lucy Liu as Rebecca the mother, Chris Sullivan as the father, Chris, Eddie Madej as Tyler, and then uh, Kalina Ling as Chloe Blue. I loved her middle name, Blue. That was awesome.
Yes.
Favorite color.
Oh, yeah. No, it was so nice. We'll talk about that, but when the dad discusses why he didn't give her the first name Blue, I thought that was kind of a little bit sad. But without further ado, I will go ahead and show the trailer for those of you that have not seen it. It is a fantastic film, and I hope that you guys enjoy.
What's it like?
What's what like?
I never had anybody die.
Scary. And it goes on.
What do you mean?
Like the world cracks apart. And you fall into this hole. And the sides are mud. And you can't get out. And you wonder where they are. And you wonder what it would be like if you were there too.
Ooh. Well, it is past January 24th, so I did not know that this before watching the movie, I did not realize that this was part of the Sundance Film Festival entry. So that is fantastic. We love the Sundance. That's one of my top places to visit. Festivals, I should say. So where do we start with this one?
How's your kitty doing?
Oh, my cat.
I
You hear her?
No.
Oh, God. Sorry, guys. We have
You have a
some
hungry
presence.
over
We
there?
have a feline presence. Yeah, okay. 1 second. She's
You got a
gonna be a
hungry
pain in the
pussy.
butt because she wants to be. Come on,
Aw.
baby. No. Come on, baby. Okay. I didn't realize she had snuck in here. She is definitely she's definitely a fun girl and wants to spend time with me, but she will incessantly like meow and meow and meow and meow, and she just wants to let her opinion know about the movie. She watched it with me, so she wants to make sure that the audience has a feline perspective.
Nice. I like it. So, what did you think about the way it was filmed? The beginning kind of made me dizzy a little bit, the way the camera was moving and shifting so much.
Yeah, so I'm glad that kind of calmed down a little bit
Yeah.
until the very end, till the brother's running up the stairs, and you're like, kind of disoriented, along with the ghost and the brother, which, spoiler alert, they're probably the same person. Oh, what? So, so at the beginning, I was thinking, oh, please don't let it be one of those like terrible movies where you just feel so dizzy because it's like camera angles and just the worst kind of stuff happening. But I'm glad that it started getting a little bit more composed with the direction. But I thought it was interesting. We never get to see, we always see from the people's perspectives, like camera angles but never from the ghost point of view. So this is the first film that I've ever seen where we have the point of view from the entity or presence or ghost or whatever you want to call it. What about you? What did you think?
I liked I understood why they used kind of like a fisheye type of lens, so you had that broader perspective, because who's to say where ghost eyeballs are? Where they don't have eyeballs, they're dead. What are they seeing out of? So it definitely made more sense to me. But yeah, I was definitely happy that it slowed down. Um, but it did kind of create an eeriness. I just wish they would have maybe moved slower with it. But I get why they moved fast, because the people were moving fast, and it kind of gave you that feeling that you were displaced, you were lost, you were out of touch, out of time, as the ghost obviously was.
I also have that perspective. I also want to state that as the film gets going, there is a psychic medium lady that comes to their house. And I will stress this. I do believe, some mediums are fake. They just want to make money. But I do believe that she was legitimate, and that, she was doing it on her lunch break just to help out this family. But the presence took so much out from her that she was not able to work. And as an empath, that's one thing that I do hate about ghost hunting. I do love ghost hunting and doing all that. It just is very exhausting. I need like at least 10 hours minimum of sleep after a night out hunting, ghost hunting, or so I give her props for wanting to do it on her lunch break.
Right.
No, I would need
But
it
I
at
mean, if
least.
you're just in it for the money, there are way easier ways to make more money, right?
Mhm.
it doesn't seem, it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
No, but she was probably thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna get a feel for certain things, give them a little bit of advice, and then go on about my life." But you can never be too prepared for these type of things. And she did say something that stood out to me. She said, "Ghosts and entities have no concept of time. They experience all of time all at the same time. So therefore, if somebody died in 2015, they can go back to the 1900s, or maybe or maybe they can travel as far back in their timeline, if that makes sense." I wasn't
Mhm.
sure how far they could travel back, but if they have no concept of time, that makes sense why um I have the theory that I have, that it was the brother all along who was the presence.
Yeah.
But
And he exposes himself to the mom at the end. That's why
yeah,
she
yeah,
freaks out.
yeah,
Really, really nice with the music and the vibrations, um, to really feel it at the end. The climax, and you could just feel everything building and building and building.
yes. So Chris says, if the feline only kind of pays attention to the film, did it do a CAT scan of it? Oh,
Oh, Chris,
oh wow, that's a
dad
thought
joke.
provoking,
Yeah.
but it is thought provoking. Is it a CAT scan?
Ah,
I would say my favorite part of Presents was Lucy Liu's um role. And there was something going on with the family. What do you
There
think
was
was
a
going
lot.
on?
There was a
Because
lot going on with the family. I like that they gave you bits and pieces of their lives without feeling the need to fill all the blanks in. Because we have Lucy Liu getting having some drinks, talking to her son, telling him that it was all worth it. She regrets nothing. Um, so she's having some legal issues of the serious kind, in which the husband even calls a friend and is like, "I'm asking for a friend." Yeah, sure. You want to
yeah,
know what the implications are for you, as if they're legally separated or if they're not. What's his punishment going to be in the situation? And I love that he decides to stick with her, even though you can tell she's like in control of everything. He's always like, it seems like every time I feel, like every time we talk about doing something, you always decide to do nothing at all. You always have us doing nothing at all. Like she has to do everything. Like
yeah,
she's the power hungry one.
yeah. And it's funny how at the beginning the father Chris gives an advice to, I believe it's Chloe, right? And she's just sitting there talking to her and saying, sometimes, and in a relationship one person takes control of everything and then the other person just lets them have it because it's what makes the other person happy. But I think that was a way, I don't know why he needed the need to tell her about that.
uh, yeah, I was wondering about too. You mean the kid, the asshole? He says, remember, you choose, you're in control. um Make good. Oh no, that was the dad. I give that to you because it's mine to give. Yeah, at first you kind of think the boy's, troubled. Maybe he's a inner goth kid. Parents ignore him, things like that. You're kind of thinking that at first, but
Mhm.
then it gets darker, and it's like, oh, I control nothing, I am nothing. And he just keeps telling her that she's in control. And then, we see, after they have sex, he's put something in her fucking drink, and we know that already two girls have been killed in their sleep. And one was Chloe's best friend, and the other one was another girl that she knew as well. So that's why she's like grieving at the very beginning. And mom just wants to ignore it. Brother just wants to ignore it. Dad's the only one that is really worried, it seems, about her. Even when the mom's talking to the brother, he's like, "You have another kid. Like you have a daughter," because she's just like, "Oh, you're gonna be perfect. You're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine." And he's like, "Whoa."
Did you ever feel like in that scene where the dad comes to Chloe's room and he's giving her a talk and then she's just kind of rambling on and then she's like, "What is this about?" And he still doesn't say it and then goes on to talking about his oh, my mom, your grandmother, and the reason why you didn't get named Blue is because she was religious and she needed saint names and yada yada yada. But he still kind of said nothing at the same time. So I'm wondering, I got that vibe from that conversation that he was probably going to bring up divorce. Like, I may need to divorce your mom, yada yada yada.
well,
I
well,
feel
I
like
think
that's where the conversation was gonna go, but then it didn't. And I'm like, the fuck is even
I think he
happening
just
here?
had trouble confessing to her that he believed her, that he believed that there are ghosts, that, there are other things that we can't explain out there. I think that was just, they seemed like a very repressed type of family that didn't talk about that type of stuff. At least
Yeah.
I'm lucky. My parents were way too TMI. Like they
Yeah,
wanted to tell me way too much. I was like,
and
hey.
Chris when he was talking to Rebecca, his wife, he was like, hey, maybe we'll try putting Chloe with the new therapist. And then the mom's like, oh, we just have to let her go through it. And then the dad's like,
She was like, we
it
just
sounds
need
like
time. Remember, time was a
time.
theme definitely throughout the movie.
Yeah, and what the dad wanted is like, no, it sounds like all the options that you want to do don't involve you doing anything. I feel like she just wanted to be like a backseat parent, you know what I mean? Just like have the kids figure it out on their own. And even when they went away, she's like, I left money on your account. Make sure you Uber Eats from the same place to avoid the fees. Like,
I'm like, don't leave teenagers alone for the weekend. Come on.
no. Yeah, no, they're saying don't have friends over.
Yeah, sure.
That bullshit, especially with the unlimited card and giving them money. Yeah, buy whatever you want on Uber Eats.
And they had money. Why didn't they have cameras? Why couldn't they have seen who was coming and going to their house? Like, my parents would have had spies, even back in the day, if there weren't cameras. Like, they would have had the neighbors, like, spying on us. Like, what are they doing? Ooh, taking notes.
Yeah.
The mailman's like, oh.
Yeah. So I don't know, like, I don't know what was going on. But it was kind of weird. Very weird.
There was definitely a lot of awkwardness and strangeness with the family. What do you think about what they did to poor Simone? What the brother did to her? That was pretty harsh.
Yeah, that was really harsh. And like the way he was talking about it, Chloe was completely checked out. She's like, yeah, no, my brother's a fucking asshole. And the way his mom and Tyler were talking about it, it seemed like it was just like, ha ha, you know, like a whole hazing thing happened and he's just talking about it. It's a funny little thing that happened. Like, oh, I tripped on my shoe. Ha ha ha.
And he posted it online. A nude picture of her, and she ended up leaving the school because of it. And they even joked about, oh, maybe she checked into, a mental health facility or something. Like,
yeah.
haha.
Tyler was not.
I was wondering maybe Tyler killed her too. Not Tyler. The other guy.
Ryan.
asshole.
Yeah, the asshole's name was Ryan.
Ryan.
I fucking loathe Ryan. Ryan is a person that should not exist. He's your typical psychopathic narcissist where he just wants to see people hurt for no fucking reason, and he has that control. He loves that control play because at the very end when he's trying to asphyxiate her after he drugged her with a tiny piece of saran wrap, he's just like covering it up. He does this speech about how your life is in my hands. He uncovered her, watched her gasp for air, and kept doing that. And I'm like, bro, what is wrong with you?
He wanted to make it last longer. He wanted to increase the veil between life and death or whatever. But he definitely hated women. He was definitely a fucking woman hater. Like, oh, you dumb bitches, they'll just think you were just drug addicts and, no big loss.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole.
He is a psychopathic, narcissistic women hater. And we definitely don't like him and we don't like his kind. And the scary part about Ryan is there's plenty of guys that are okay drugging women and doing terrible things like Ryan's done. And they're just like, oh yeah, no big deal. Like you're in some
he was
hot
asking
shot.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's some kind of hot shot that,
what weirded me out, he had the saran wrap like in this fancy container. What was that about? I was like, what? He's like, oh, it's the thinnest you can get. Like, how many micro whatevers he was saying. I'm like, what the?
He
definitely a serial killer because by 3 you're a serial killer, right? So she would have been his third.
So
yeah.
He was definitely not a good guy, and I don't like him. I didn't like Tyler either because of how like he had the whole jock bully thing and didn't
Even
accept.
though he was on the swim team, like, come on.
I mean, the swim team, you know, and he had a picture, he had a fucking poster of Michael Phelps,
Of course,
like,
of course.
calm down, fucking nerd.
Well, that's what mom had planned for him, man. She had plans. She had to
Olympic
make sure
swimmer.
they got into that district so he could join that swim team. That's why
Mhm.
the house was so important.
Mhm. One thing that is kind of interesting is what was the what do you think the financial thing was? I think the mom was doing some sort of fraud
Yeah.
because she was always working, and then notice how there was a scene where
She
she's
was
working.
deleting her emails and she's like, "Oh, I got a virus." Yeah. Remember he comes home and
Yeah,
she's deleting emails.
that's the thing. That's the thing. She was in bed. He comes in, and then she does this whole thing where she's on this side, kind of hiding the laptop. She's like, "Oh, it's just a virus thing, you know. I got a virus." Like nonchalant. I'm like, "Yeah, you're not an 80-year-old grandma that's falling for the Norton virus scam. Like you're definitely doing something wrong." So I feel like Rebecca was doing some shady business.
Oh yeah. And then
Some
he
sort
even
of
makes jokes about it and she doesn't even laugh or anything. She's just like deadpan, just like, "Oh, gotta delete this. Oh shit."
yeah,
I mean, maybe some type of insider trading, some shit
something.
like that.
Yeah, I think
Tax
it's
evasion. I
she
don't
was
know.
doing some white collar crime, let's be honest. Like some sort of white collar shit where like she she was in this firm because she was saying, "Oh, the lawyer is going to be there. These people from accounting are going to be there. These people are going to be there." So it sounds like definitely she was getting insider information from some sort of firm and kind of using that for stocks, which is illegal, by the way, but that's probably what I'm guessing she was doing.
Because
I
she
might
said she was like, I did it all for you, like for her son, like what, to afford that house in that district, what?
What did you do?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to know. Give us the saucy details. Like, did you scam someone or I don't know. I wanted to know a little bit more about the family secrets. They kind of left us wanting more. If that makes sense. We kind of leave the scene and we're like, Did you like how they did the whole cut to black? Like you'd see a scene and then the scene would be over and then it'd cut to black and
Yeah.
then it'd be like the next day or the next scene sequence and then it'll open up
Mm-hmm.
again and then it'll close and turn to black
Because it
again.
was like, yeah, it was like the ghost, kind of moving through time. Or I was always wondering why it kept going into her closet. That's why at one point I thought the ghost was her. And then I was hoping it was Ryan, the dickhead. I was hoping that like maybe she fucking killed his ass. Nice, good for her. But no, it was the brother. That's why anytime he was there, he would get angry. That's why he ripped up his room because he was being mean to that other girl and mean to his sister. And remember when his dad said, "For once, I just wish for once you could stick up for her." Well, he did. I mean, he had to do a fucking like. Why do you have to do like a dive at the guy? Like, couldn't you just kind of push him, or choke
Well,
him out? But he was
he,
drugged, right? He
he
was
was he
drugged,
was
and he
drunk,
woke
so he
himself up and
he
discharged.
probably he probably the way I thought about that scene is that makes sense why he would jump out the window with him because he was drugged and like he probably didn't have good motion of his body and probably didn't
Knew he
feel
couldn't like kind of choke him out, so just tried to get him out of the way, but you know,
lost control.
fell with him.
Yeah, that scene. That do you think Ryan died too?
Yeah, they're both dead for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, that's my
he's not
thinking
hurting
also.
anybody anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So at
Yeah,
least the brother, did a good
I
thing
think
for.
I think you're right about that. I think the brother it was the brother that ripped up the room because remember they were getting into that really intense argument in the dining room and then he says something really mean to her and then hurts her feelings and they go argue and then like a bunch of stuff happens and then his room gets trashed. It was definitely him as a ghost telling himself, "Yo, you better like not be
Mhm.
doing that to her," And I don't
And like
know,
the lady said, sometimes they don't know who they are. Maybe
they're
he just,
confused.
he remembered somehow, but not specifically. Just like really was angry with him, so he had the energy to kind of tear down his room when those situations happen. And now when I think of it, the end of the movie, with the mom at the mirror, and then when the psychic comes in and she touches the mirror, that's when she really has issues. I think she was seeing some form of that. The mom's experience when she realizes that her son is still in the house and sees
Mhm.
him in the mirror.
Mhm. That's true. I think yeah, maybe he got a really she got that strong feeling that it was a family member of theirs that was stuck in that room. Maybe not specifically it being Tyler. Well, why would the ghost remember at the very beginning where she's taking a shower or whatever in the bathroom and the ghost like moves her books to the desk and all her pencils and all her little notebooks and I'm like, damn it, now she's gonna not know what page she was on. Fuck, what a
I was
dick.
like, that's awesome. Like the ghost is cleaning up for her. He's like trying to help her out. I don't think he knew why he did it. I don't, because that's the first kind of. But we could have been seeing no, where we were seeing things as if we were the ghost. So it should have been the same order that the ghost was experiencing things. So that was like the first altercation. Maybe he was just kind of realizing, oh, hey, I can move things. I think maybe that was a part of it, just kind of realizing he can move things. And then he liked her. He may not have known why he liked her, or he felt close to her. He felt her pain, because she's mourning her friend and, he's dead. So maybe he just kind of picked up on her emotions, felt bad for her. So, wanted to do something nice and see what he could do with his ghost powers.
Here's a the ghost kept hiding in the closet every time she was changing and having sex. Didn't want to see his sister.
Yeah, nobody wants to see their sister. Yeah, getting down.
Oh, you know what is funny? When they do start having sex, the camera turns to the clothes and
Yeah,
not at them. And it's just like,
yeah,
I'm like, why are we looking at a fucking coat hanger? I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to watch teens get it on because that's fucking gross, but like well, it makes sense now. If it was the brother, I wouldn't want to watch that. I'd be like, well,
Hmm.
this is really awkward, so I'm just gonna stare at the at. And I think the reason why the ghost Tyler didn't want to go into his own room, probably because he didn't want to like get caught by Tyler, and then the alive Tyler, not dead Tyler, because then it would kind of fuck something up. I don't know.
Hmm. I think, and because he was protecting her, he knew what
Yeah.
was going to go down was going to be in her room, so he wanted to be able to watch over her room.
Tyler said, "Don't mess with my books, ghost." Yeah. It's like
Right?
shit. I
Unless
wasn't.
you're going to do my homework for me, right?
Yeah. You're gonna do my fucking homework. My trigonometry. He was doing what trigonometry. I'm
Yeah,
like,
man.
whoa, that
And she
shit's
was supposed to be a
advanced.
freshman because he was like, he was talking to her about some book, the asshole Ryan. He's like, oh, yeah, you're not a sophomore yet. So she was a freshman in trig. So she was fucking smart, dude.
Hmm. She was very smart. She was an intellectual, and we loved her for that. She was okay. She was a highly empathic girl that had just went through two deaths of her friends, trying to go through puberty, trying to go through freshman year of high school, trying to figure shit out, and it's kind of a lot to be dealing with at that age. Trying to memorize and do your homework, trigonometry, boys, like, and then the death of two people in your life, like that's a lot that she was going
Yeah.
through. So I would get why she would want to be attracted to Brian, because she thinks, oh, this guy knows his shit. And yeah,
Well, even the
no.
brother was trying to set her up with him. He's like, oh, he's really popular. I did her a favor, trying to hook her up with him or whatever. And then he regrets it later, but because she was at a new school and didn't have any friends, and the friends she would have had were dead. So I'm sure all the kids just kind of avoided her. So we never really see her with any girlfriends, or even talking on the phone to any girls, or on the computer or FaceTime, nothing. Like, she's
Nothing,
not
yeah.
interacting with anybody.
So I don't know. I think it was kind of interesting, but lots of little tiny nuances. So if you could rate this movie 1 star out of 5 stars, what would you give it?
I'd give it a 3.
I agree with you on that. I'd give it a 3.
I like the ingenuity of the ghost perspective. I like the telling the story in bits and pieces without filling in the blanks. The ending was definitely climatic, and but it wasn't scary. Like you saw when you played the preview, what people were saying about it. It's like the scariest movie you'll see this year. No, it
No.
was a little haunting, maybe. The situations and stuff. You feel for these people. That's why it's listed as a horror thriller drama, because it's more dramatic. But not like scary. And it didn't have to have jump scares to be scary. But it's just, I was never afraid of the ghost. Never.
Yeah.
But I think that was the point. You weren't supposed to be scared of the ghost because you knew it was someone good. I was more scared of the people. I was like, oh, these people, they're just stomping and they're loud and they're annoying. I was just like the ghost. Like I felt the ghost pain. Like, God, these people, just chill the fuck out.
Oh, and slamming the fucking doors constantly. I'm like, bro, can we not slam these goddamn doors? Like, what is going on? So it is as a psychological thriller on their page. It is listed as a psychological thriller. I would say it's very much in that department, in the drama psychological. Um it it's somebody else on Rotten Tomatoes said it was a spectral thriller. I don't know if I'd call it all that. The only moment where I really felt a little uneasy was at the very beginning, when the house is empty and they're panning all through the house. I was like, "Oh God, it's gonna be one of these." And I was very glad that I was wrong, because those are very scary and I don't like them. But this wasn't that bad.
But I was happy at the end for the kid, because he got to move on. Like as soon as he, said bye to mom, he went out of the house and went up. So, he's not a ghost trapped in the house,
Yeah.
because that would suck. He stayed because he chose to stay. He wanted to help his sister.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I agree with that, and I think that I'm happy for the girl, because she finally gets closure in a way, because she's actually able to grieve now. And her parents, I mean, it's gonna sound really shitty to say, but now the mom can really focus on the one kid.
Yeah, maybe she'll pay attention to her. I don't know. or just believe her
Because
son so much and ignore her more. Mm.
yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with that whole dynamic, but at least she's got her dad's back. She's always had her dad's back. So I'm hoping that really things turn around for her and she's able to kind of navigate through grief, through high school, through the trauma she's been through, and hopefully she's able to overcome the thing that happened with Ryan, because that's very traumatic in itself. Having somebody attempt to unalive you is very unsettling. So sorry for her,
Yeah.
but it's going to be
And
a long road.
I thought to myself, I'm like, well, if he was out of time, why didn't he try to save himself? But then you have the conundrum that if he saves himself, then he won't be a ghost to save her. So he had to continue to sacrifice himself. He couldn't
Yeah.
stop it before that happened because he has to become a ghost to save her.
Yeah, he does really have to do that, and I think it's a lot. But without further ado, that's how it is. This movie was fun. Not fun. It is kind of fun to piece together what's happening. To me, I like the movies that make me go, "Oh, what about this? What about that? What about that?" And kind of makes you think and try to put the pieces together yourself, because you are given individual pieces. So I thought that was really fun, and I don't know. I I enjoyed it. I think there's worse movies out there. I think there's better movies out there, but it wasn't bad.
Agreed.
Do you have anything else that you want to add before we?
I think we covered it all.
Yes. Right. Let me see. So next week we have two special guests that will be joining us on. We have done a review with these lovely people before. They're doing a new project called The Ghost That Wouldn't Die. I believe we did a podcast with them recently about a movie that we got the pleasure of seeing. I forgot the name of it, but it was great. It had the girl with the really pretty curly hair. Oh, I forget her name. I think it was like Liana. I don't know. She was like the rock star, and then they had that apartment, and whew, that was a crazy film. So The Ghost That Wouldn't Die. 2 weeks in a row we'll be doing ghost stuff, so that's kind of cool. So next week on Thursday, join us. That'll be happening here at same time, 10 p.m. And we are more than happy to see you guys here. So have a great night, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to thank you for listening to Delight and Fright with your hosts, Luna and Cat, a podcast for outcasts.